Nice.
Here.
Mr. Garvis.
Here.
Ms. Tully.
Here.
Mr. Ventura.
Here.
Thank you. First up is resolution number 24, 2022.
I move to offer resolution 24, 2022 for its first, second, and third reading by title only.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
A resolution confirming the appointment by the mayor of Daniel R. Wilson as the Director of Public Service for the City of Macedonia.
So we have been on the search for a new director. We began interviewing in early February. I would not normally interview this many people, but we did interview 11 people for this position. In that search, obviously we came today to Mr. Wilson, who we feel is a great fit for us. He comes with a lot of experience. If you've read through his resume, kind of climbed through the ranks in terms of a service worker all the way to where he's at today. I think he's 2 classes shy of a master's of public administration, so got a lot of talent in this gentleman, and I think that he's going to be a great fit not only for the city but for our team. So that's something that when the panel interviewed him, we all felt that he was the best fit for us, and we did interview him several times. Definitely checked all his resources to see what they thought of him, and it was nothing but glowing reviews. So, Mrs. Smith, anything you want to add to that?
No, I reached out to his references. I pulled some of his current employer even provided me with performance reviews, and everything resonated the same thing, stellar. And I think he's going to be an excellent fit for the city.
And in addition to that, if you didn't surmise it from reading through his resume, he is moving. This is another situation where our search really went nationwide for this position because we wanted to make sure that whoever assumed this role was going to be one that's going to be here for a long time and suit us best. So I believe if approved today, he will start on April 25th. And then shortly thereafter, bring his family here once he finds a permanent residence, because as we're all aware, things are a little crazy right now in the housing market. So every intention to come here. I even set him up with the high school to go meet with them to see if this was a place he wanted to live. And I know that he had a great meeting with the high school principal, spent several hours there, and felt that our community is where he wanted to plant his roots at this point. So at this point, I'll entertain any questions.
Good luck with the housing. We found a house, we sold it now. It's a tough market.
Any questions from council?
No.
Question? Okay. What's your pleasure?
I'm going to make a motion first. I'm going to make a motion to amend Resolution 24, Section 3, where it mentions sick leave hours. I'd like to amend that to be 915.65 hours as opposed to the estimated 95 hours.
And eliminate the parentheses.
And eliminate the parentheses that had the hours in question.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? What's your pleasure?
Yes, Mayor, I move to make resolution 24, 2022 adopted and post the same according to law.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Mr. Wilson, welcome. And if you want to come up to the microphone and tell us a little bit about yourself, you are officially a member of our team on April 25th, correct? I had to put you on the spot.
So we have something set up in the rec center for him to stay at.
We don't do temporary sheltering at the rec center. He can stay at my house if he needs a place there.
I thought he's going to live at the city hall with the mayor. Isn't that where the mayor lives?
I do have a nice couch.
Well, the craziest thought went through my mind when I realized, I think I was coming out of my interview, someone showed me that that's where the firefighters sleep. And I thought,
There you go.
well, do they have an extra bed? They wouldn't mind. But no, I really don't have a speech planned at all. I really didn't know I had to give one. It's an honor and a privilege, and I really appreciate it. I'm humbled, and I'm excited to serve the city. I've worked really hard to get where I am. I'm looking forward to it.
Well, we're proud to have you and look forward to getting you off and running and excited to see what the future holds for that department. So thank you very much.
Absolutely. Thank you.
And you're used to snow, right?
Yeah.
Not snow belt
Make
snow.
sure.
Maybe not quite as much as we
Yeah,
get
not snow belt
we
snow.
get here, but snow is my passion. That's one thing I talk about in my interviews.
Sure you're gonna
Is
start
it-
tomorrow.
it really is.
Snow again this weekend.
Is it going to snow this weekend?
Yep.
It's on the list again.
Why not?
You'll get to deal with snow belt snow, slightly different than Columbus
Slightly
snow. Yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be a challenge.
I'm
It's a
looking
whole
forward
different
to it.
world once you get past Mansfield.
Yeah.
That's palm trees. Palm trees.
Have you ever lived this north in Ohio?
My wife and I lived in Toledo.
Oh, okay. It's still different.
Before kids, early on, when she was going to Bowling Green,
Yeah.
for just about a year. But it was cold, that's all I remember.
Yeah.
It's very windy in Toledo. It's not that windy
It
here.
was very windy, yeah. We lived like downtown in an apartment, and
Okay.
I do remember that, right on the water, and it was really cold and windy.
Yeah, we're not kidding about the lake effect snow. It's different.
Yeah, we talked a lot about snow in his interview, so
That is-
he's fully aware.
His passion is snow, so that's awesome.
All right.
Welcome.
Thank you.
I'm
Thank you.
familiar with Kahana and Dublin, and those are beautiful cities, so I hope you can help us make our city as beautiful. Yeah.
You do have ski slopes. So if you like snow, go skiing.
All right, so resolution 24 carries. Ordinance number 25.
Mr. Mayor, I would like to offer ordinance number 25, 2022 for its first reading by title only.
Second.
An ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a real estate purchase agreement for the real property known as permanent parcel number 33-11015 for the amount of $625,000 and appropriating that amount.
So at this point, I think it's appropriate to start the conversation for questions from council so we can let the public know what our intentions are. So I will open up the floor for any questions regarding ordinance number 25.
So where is this parcel at?
So this is the Park Avenue Valley View property. It was the location of the old school that was sitting over there that was demolished years ago and has been sitting vacant for, I think, the better part of at least 10 years. Mr. Rodick, you think? So it's just been a vacant piece of land. We have had a lot of different entities try to come and pursue the purchase of that land. One of them was a trucking terminal. Obviously, that's not something that's very enticing for us or for the betterment of the community, but the Future Growth Committee had proposed this way back in, what year was that,
2015, 16?
15, and a lot of the things that were in this manual, can I borrow this for a second? So a lot of things that were in here talked about what we should do in the future, and I've taken the bull by the horns and done a lot of those things, and this would be the crown jewel for us to get this thing moving in that direction. Now, I don't know how long that's going to take. I don't know necessarily what the future holds. My thoughts are potentially opening up, and again, the Future Growth Committee to have this conversation in more depth if this passes through. But I want to start to move towards what we proposed here. So when people, the biggest thing I hear in this community are two things: people speeding, and we need a variety of restaurants. If we can assume this property, we could start to control it to get the things that people are asking for. So this wouldn't be like your corporate stores there. This would be your more mom and pop shops where it's more feasible for them to afford being there and having those types of things there. So this is the first step of many to get there, but I think this is in our best interest to start moving in that direction because, again, folks in the community want it. The Future Growth has said it, and I believe from talking to most of you that this is something that you would desire as well. So that's the reason why this is beginning today.
And I'll point out that I was part of the Future Growth Committee, and this was our plan for a downtown Macedonia area, the corner between Park and Valley View and 82 that would have, like Hudson's downtown or any other small town downtown. So that would be the city taking steps. This would be the city taking steps to get to that, like the mayor said.
If you look at the Future Growth one, though, it also has purchased the homes on Park. This isn't doing that, is it?
Nope.
You would only be buying the vacant land, so it would not be buying. This shows the entire corridor. This still wouldn't be purchased up to, I think it's about here, and the house is on this side, so.
Yeah, the
There
future.
is a difference. I personally think we should have a public hearing where we invite the public to hear this. One of my concerns as a personnel here is at $625,000. At this day and age, what ifs. There are too many what ifs. And I hate to say that because we're all facing that in our own, circles. The other thing is if we purchase it, what's the game plan for how long? Who are we going after? We said we didn't want any more restaurants than we brought in IHOP and we brought in the chicken place. So there's a lot of concerns. The other concern is how do we, if we do this, and I'm not against it, but I think we need to have some real conversations with the residents who actually pay for it. How do we impact the traffic where the semis are now coming down Route 82? Because we're all going to Route 8 to turn left to get on the freeway. That's a concern too. Do we direct them out of Highland? No, there are still houses on Highland. So I think we need to move forward, but I would like to see us do a public, where we can ask the public, first of all, give them some time to think about it. And second of all, have a meeting like we've done in the past where we put it out, talk to us face to face. And then I think we need to talk about if we spend this money, how much money do we have left in carryover? City this size should have 12 million. And we're not 12 million in carryover. So those are going to be valid questions that anticipated already with some of the questions are going to be, see if we can get that up in front of them so we can proceed forward. Also with the plan, if we buy it, who are we going to, we're not going to build the buildings, I would assume. How do we get that rolling? Right now, most places aren't building due to construction costs, due to equipment, people, money. We just need to finalize it. Even if it sits for another 5 years, as long as we know this is what the plan is going to be, we need to sell it. They just said, they're going to sell the property to us, but we got to sell it to the residents.
So there's two key points that I want to bring up with that. So we did have the property appraised. The appraisal on the property came back at $675,000. I negotiated it down to $625,000. So we're getting it for $50,000 less than it's worth. We did agree to pay closing costs, which would amount to no more than $5,000. So that's key number one to this. Number two, the dollars we're going to use to purchase this are not taxpayer dollars. It's the dollars that we got from the sale of the Bedford anodizing property. So it's not actually coming from taxes that are contributed from our community or the people that live here. It's money that's coming from the sale of the property that we got for nothing. So all those pieces come into play with this. And again, I don't know necessarily the future of how this is going to go. I have some ideas in my mind of what we're going to work through. Essentially, what we need to do is find some investors that are willing to look at this and potentially put the things there that we want to see there in the future. But again, the key point is we have to probably get back the input from the public, which I want to hear, and then also potentially have the future growth come at some point, because I don't know that we need to buy all that property, and what they have proposed there was just proposed. It's just that. But what we do moving forward is all kind of in play at this point. So I don't know where it's all going to head, but this is the first step to enact what they had foreseen back then.
And just to make a point of this land purchase is not building a downtown. It's not a promise to build a downtown. It's not building a restaurant. It's not building anything. It's basically just a bookmark. We're holding it so that we can be in charge of finding the right developers and the right investors to take the place. You know, you mentioned we were bringing in IHOP and Cane's, but we didn't bring anything. A developer owned that land. Developer sold the lease to those restaurants. So if we control it at this point, then we control the developer and so on. So this isn't even a promise of downtown. If we can't make this work, if we can't find the right investor, we always have the ability to sell it. So this is not, we're definitely going forward with it, but this gives us a toehold to, if we can't decide, do have the discussions with the community and do have, some plans drawn out further thought into it. It wouldn't be possible if we didn't own this land. If someone came and built something on this empty property, it would really wreck the plans of us being able to even consider something like that. So this is just a toehold, a bookmark, allowing us to take steps in the future.
And we've been approached on this property on multiple occasions for things that we don't necessarily think is a good fit there. And as I always tell everyone, if you own a property, you can do anything you want with it as long as you're within zoning. So a trucking terminal potentially could have gone there. And that's a huge opportunity for us where we live and what we do to make that something that the community would like to see, not a trucking terminal. That's not, when I heard that is kind of what spurred me to start looking into this and negotiating with the property owner. And again, getting it for 50,000 that it's worth, it seems like a good investment to me, because if we go belly up at some point, we decide that, this isn't going to work and we want to sell it, we're still in the good. Now, property values can fluctuate, but at the same time, we're getting it for 50,000 less than it's valued at, so.
Could fluctuate in our favor.
Absolutely.
That could happen as well, and the trend seems to be going that way, but who knows what the future holds.
Right.
The previous, there is a senior center on that side of the street. There were two of them at the same time, one on this property and one on the west side. And the one on the west side preceded the one on the east side, which is this property, chose not to come. They were both here at the planning commission, it was very interesting discussion, I'll say.
Yeah, a nursing facility was another one that was talked about, and someone was interested in the property, and I think we have every level of care in Macedonia at every age group that you have that already, so adding to that probably wouldn't make much sense.
That was the concern of having two, when we also were adding another one over on Shepherd or on Bedford, and then you have the apartments behind us. It's like, I always say to my husband, what are they going to do when we're all gone? Who's going to live in all these senior centers? It's kind of sad to say, but we have a lot of senior centers. Not that we don't need them now, but what about the future? And that's what this talks about, is what do we do for the future?
So all healthy stuff in my mind, again, looking to the future to expand and keep the growth and the vibrance of Macedonia, so. Any further conversation?
I actually have a thought. Since we're here and we're not going to be here for a while, do we want to look at a calendar and pick a potential public hearing date?
I was actually thinking we should probably do that before our next council meeting, because that gives enough time to put the notice out, because that's what, 3 weeks away, right?
Yeah.
24 days.
So next week is Holy Week.
23 days.
So do you guys want to schedule before our next meeting?
That would work for me.
That's why I'm bringing it up, because once we leave, it'd be
Well, the next
challenging.
meeting is the 28th, so we could do it the week of the 18th.
No, before, like
No, before the
the
meeting.
half hour before.
Immediately preceding.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's how we've done them in the past.
Yes, ma'am. Before the meeting.
On the 28th.
So we'll schedule it for sure at 7:15? Would that be
You
the
can
plan?
charge of that.
Well, I'm asking the consensus.
That's fine.
7:15 for sure, and then we'll schedule our work session around that before that.
Why don't we host it downstairs and
I don't think we
Cater.
get some people to come?
Cater.
I would ask all of you as residents, think about this. If you can't be here, send emails to us, but I'd really like to see you face to face. We've done this before where we actually had a meeting at the rec center. That we talked about the budget and we talked about what departments needed and where we were going. And we had quite a few people, so I would like to see as many residents, because you're important to us, that's why we're here.
Agreed. Anything further?
It's all been said.
Hearing none, we'll move on to ordinance number 26.
I move to offer ordinance number 26, 2022 for its first, second, and third reading by title only.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
An emergency ordinance authorizing and directing the mayor to participate in the ODOT road salt contracts awarded in 2022.
Mr. Zernak, anything you want to add to this?
We need salt.
Do we have the cost
Can't do
per,
our job without salt.
do we have the cost per ton?
What,
What was the cost per ton?
like this year, I don't know yet.
Oh, they're negotiating that, okay.
Yeah. You want to mention it to your news department and say, we're going to protect you at least.
You're going to use more salt now than you ever have in your entire life.
We'll get you salt. You have to be in charge of, storing it, distributing it, all that stuff.
4,000 tons of salt. That's only one delivery.
4,000.
4,000 tons.
We usually use it all in lots of clear lane.
It'll be gone in a week, don't worry about it.
I hope not a week.
I hope you brought a tarp with you. Okay. Tarp it.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, what is your pleasure?
I move to adopt ordinance number 26, 2022, and post the same according to law.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ordinance 26 carries. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
No, I have a motion to enter into executive session to discuss the appointment, employment, dismissal, discipline, promotion, demotion, or compensation of a public employee or official pursuant to the Ohio Revised Code, Sections 121.22G1. A second that for me, VP.
Second.
Man, you got that down.
Roll call, please.
Very well. Mark
Wow.
got that down.
Ms. Brandt?
Yes.
Mr. Finley?
Yes.
Mr. Garbus?
Yes.
Ms. Tully?
Yes.
Mr. Ventura?
Yes.
No. We'll be right back. To adjourn, there's nothing else after that, so we'll be right back.
Thank you, Mr. Mark.